Everybody.
Hello.
Welcome. We are just going to give people a few minutes to join in. I see that some people are already joining in. Just hold on for a few more minutes before we get started.
Happy Small Business Week.
It's the start of Small Business Week and we're excited.
Yeah, kudos Evie for all the great programming you're putting out there, and thanks so much for having me.
Awesome. If you can hear us very well and you can see the video and you can see the screen that I'm sharing, can you just drop a comment in the chat?
I actually don't see the screen that you're sharing.
I see thumbs up going up.
I'm seeing the two of us, Evie, but no slides.
Okay.
There we go.
Awesome. I see Colin, I see Damilola, I see Guy, there's Jode, Eva. Welcome everybody. We're just going to give people a couple of minutes before we start so that people can join in. Waiting, if you can, just drop in the chat where you're coming in from, what's the name of your business, and if you can drop your LinkedIn, people can connect with you as well. Thank you all for joining.
Maybe folks are shy to start the chat up, so I broke the ice. I see folks using the Q&A tab.
Use the chat tab. The Q&A tab will just be for Q&A. Thank you, Interpret Business and Executive Coaching. Thank you for joining.
Hi, Colin. Welcome.
I think we'll just give it 2 more minutes before we get started. When people join in, they will just tag along as we're going. So we're waiting for like 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. Thank you, Colin. Thank you, Just Jode. 4 minutes before we get started. See Shiva there. Hello, Shiva. Veronica just joined. Welcome, Veronica. Okay, I think we can get started now.
Let's do it.
All right, so everybody, welcome to Small Business Week. We're excited to have you here. We're excited to get this started. So this is Small Business Week and it's going to run through the whole week. If you don't already know, we have a Small Business Week special that we are hosting for the rest of the week. It started on the 14th of October and it's going to run through the end of the month. So small businesses can attend. We're hosting 2 free webinars. This is one of them. Second webinar is going to be on Wednesday. That's going to be about CRM and how businesses can use that to elevate their businesses. So if you have not registered for that, you can go ahead and register. Then we have consultations, discounts, and whatnot. And you can visit the website to find out more about it. So let's dive right in. So what we are going to be looking at today is how to leverage AI and automation for business growth, right? So a few housekeeping. This session is being recorded, and after the event, we're going to send you a follow-up email with the recording. Please make sure to have your audio turned up so that you can hear all what we are saying at each point in time. And you can submit any questions that you have in the Q&A box at any point. Then at the end of the session, we'll answer those questions. We would have some polls going through as we're going through the event, and please make sure to participate in those polls so that we can gauge your understanding of what we are doing so far. So jumping right into it, this is what we're going to cover. We're going to do some introductions so you can understand who we are, myself and Danielle, and what we do. Then we're going to talk about what is AI and what is automation. Then we'll go through the current landscape of small businesses and AI. Then we'll look at practical AI applications for small businesses. Then we're going to do a demo, a walkthrough of the platform Mind Studio. Then we'll have the Q&A, then we'll do a wrap-up. All right, so introductions. My name is Evangel. I'm the founder and director of Begin Fusion, Digital Adoption, Growth Marketing, and AI Strategy. We're partners with Mind Studio, and we help businesses integrate technology and leverage AI on automation. And we also help businesses with AI-driven growth marketing strategies. That's a little bit about me and company. Daniel, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Evie. It's great to see you again and great to connect with your audience. Happy Small Business Week, everyone. I'm Danielle. I'm based in London, Ontario, just outside of Toronto. I am Director of Partnerships at Mind Studio. My job is to support Evie in making magic happen with Mind Studio for clients, businesses of all sizes. I work with dozens of partners globally that are implementing AI solutions via the Mind Studio platform for their clients to help drive efficiency and really transform organizations with AI. So I'm really excited to talk to this group of Canadian entrepreneurs today. This is a audience that is super dear to my heart, and excited to talk AI, to talk automation, and expose you to the Mind Studio platform.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Danielle. And just to add in there, Danielle, we have some people joining us from outside of Canada today.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. So moving on to the very first section. So let's just talk about AI, right? We have heard AI a lot in the news, on LinkedIn, social media and stuff, but before we dive into what we're going to be talking about, let's just do an introduction of what AI is. What is AI? What is automation?
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to start with the basics because to your point, Evie, there is a lot of hype going around about AI, automation. Automation has been around for a while. AI has been around for a while too, but they're certainly having a moment right now. So it's good to start at the beginning. So we can think of AI, artificial intelligence, as how computers or how softwares learn from data and make decisions. So for example, we are all people, we are all intelligent. We learn from experience over time. We gain new skills. We learn new things and are able to make better decisions as we gain more experience and get wiser and get better at doing so. AI does the same thing. So for example, AI can look at data like your product history, product buying history, and maybe look at buying behaviors of your customers and say, hey, based off past purchases, your customers might be interested in this new product next. That's how AI could work for your business. When we look at automation, and the two kind of can go hand in hand, but just to break them up for the purposes of setting us up here, automation is about streamlining repetitive tasks. So for example, you might do a lot of sending out of invoices, answering really common customer questions that you get all the time, managing your calendar or your schedule for your service availability. Automation is like having an extra pair of hands to take care of time-consuming things that don't necessarily need your full attention, but need to get done. And when we layer AI into the mix, AI is really helping to automate even more tasks further. Things that may have required intelligence or some creating of content. Now AI can come into the mix and automate even more types of different tasks that otherwise would not have been able to. So that's the start. I'm excited to get into more EV, but I'll pause there so we can keep the
All right. Keep it going. So let's talk about some misconceptions that businesses have about AI, and how they can overcome them.
Yeah, I think especially when talking to small businesses, there might be a big misconception that AI is too expensive, right? You think, okay, I need a data scientist or an engineer that I need to work with, and that's no longer the case, right? We have there's plenty of affordable and even free AI tools that are on the market that are specifically designed for small businesses to be plug and play, from customer service types of tools to automation platforms. There's a ton of different really affordable platforms that you can try for free before making any level of an investment. I think another misconception is that you need to be really tech savvy to be able to use AI. And
Sure.
that also is no longer the case. Many tools are easy set up, easy to use, and don't require a few clicks just to get started. Of course, the more knowledge you have, the more you can even get out of AI platforms. But many softwares are built now to be really user-friendly and don't require any coding knowledge or don't require the need of having an engineer on staff or a developer on staff to be able to take advantage of them.
Awesome. I know there's one thing I've always heard from small businesses is, why small business, we don't need AI. And I'm like, nope, you do.
Yeah,
All right, thank you so much for that.
no, for sure. And maybe like one other, like maybe elephant in the room too, right, is that AI is going, I'm a small business. I want to create new jobs for my community. I don't want AI to take away jobs from my community. And that's a misconception as well that we can discuss, right? AI is not about like replacing people. It's about making your team more efficient, handling the repetitive and mundane tasks so that you and any employees that you have on staff can work on higher value work. Things like building customer relationships, growing your business, thinking about new products or new opportunities and new services that you can offer. So AI is a tool that can work alongside your team, doesn't have to always be replacing your team. And I think maybe how I've seen this, and I think how we're all seeing this in action. I worked at a grocery store for many years. I have a lot of family members who are still kind of in that retail space, and we see more and more self-checkouts being used at some of the Canadian grocery stores. I'm sure grocery stores around the world as well. And I always ask, well, what's happening to the folks who used to be on those cash registers? Well, they are being retrained, right? They're being retrained to do things like online orders, being able to triage with Instacart delivery drivers, and a number of different things that have now unlocked new channels for their business because of the internet and because of the web. It's really a matter of retraining and reskilling, rethinking how you are going to use the resources at your disposal with software automation, with AI now at play here.
Awesome. All right, thank you for that. So let's move on to the next thing, which is the business landscape for small businesses in AI right now. So can you just walk us through some of the key challenges that small businesses are facing right now when they try to adopt technologies like AI?
Yeah, for sure. We talked already about maybe budget concerns as one area, and we've already discussed the way around that is, you can try things for free. There are lots of different affordable softwares out on the market. The one thing I also want to address is lack of time. And we talked a little bit about this in terms of okay, you don't necessarily need to be an expert in technology or in AI to start using it. And I think the reason why that's important is because it takes time to build expertise. It also still does take time to learn new technologies, to implement new processes. So the key there is really to start with tools that are user-friendly and require minimal setup, and tons of AI solutions out there in the market that are designed to be intuitive, designed to be plug and play. The other challenge, I think, for small business is maybe a resistance to change, right? Whether it's from the business owner or even from the employees who might need to learn new technology. They might not be comfortable with that. And this really can be overcome with communication, right? Explaining how AI can take the boring jobs, the repetitive jobs, and allow your team to focus on more meaningful work, and really demonstrating through training and enablement. And I know it's something that UEV, that's something you can help with as well, to focus on how it can help make their lives easier versus replacing their roles or replacing their teammates' roles.
I mean, those are the conversations that I have with small businesses around, adopting new technologies, AI automation and things like that. It's like, it's not too complex, and we also, one of the things we try to do is help them with the change management aspect as well, because a lot of businesses don't want to change. They're like, if it's not broken, don't fix it. But no, you can get more efficient, right? And in the engagements that I've had with businesses, there's a lot of waste going on, like within their departments, during their operations and all of that. So if they can use these tools, like it will transform the way they are doing their business, save cost as well. So it's something that's very important. And I have some things to share here. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. It's like a chicken and the egg, right? It's like, well, I don't have time to work on this, but okay, because you don't have time to work on this, you actually need this the most. But I'm excited to hear what you have to share.
Yeah, so like this is just some stats right now of what small businesses in Canada are currently facing. Like these are the top 5 reasons why small businesses are hesitant to adopt AI. The very first one is cost, right? Small businesses usually think that this AI thing is just for large enterprises. It's going to be so expensive, so we don't want to even go down that path. But that's not true, because they are really, really cheap solutions, right? Even using Mind Studio is not even going to cost you so much, right? And in what we try to do as well is offer very affordable pricing for them in terms of our consulting fees and all those type of things, right? But cost is not something, it shouldn't be a barrier. And that's one thing we try to let them know as well. Then data privacy and security, right? Concerns about, they're giving up their data. You hear the things that, anything you put into ChatGPT, they're going to use it to train their AI and stuff. But, when you have your own custom AI solutions, what we're trying to help businesses do with Mind Studio, you don't have that privacy concern anymore, right? Then one big one too is lack of understanding, right? Most of them don't just understand how everything is going to happen and go. So that's part of the thing we help them, the education and letting them know that, okay, this is how you can implement this thing into your operations, from your sales, finance, marketing, however it is. Excuse me. Then technology as well. There are so many tools on the market right now from AI. So when they look at it, it's like, oh my God, what are we even going to select? So we help them try and drill down into like, okay, what tools do you really need for your business? What do you have existing, right? And what tools can complement what is already existing? So things like that. Then integration challenges, like some businesses I've seen, right, are operating like it's 1985. They are still using some legacy systems. You'll be surprised that people are still running on Windows XP. So doing all those things is something that we need to change. So these are just the top 5 reasons why small businesses are hesitant to adopt AI. But we help them overcome all of this, and I mean, that's the reason why we're on this webinar today as well. Do you want to add anything to this, Danielle?
Yeah, I just, we'll talk more about the Mind Studio platform as we go on, but just as a teaser, Mind Studio is a platform for using AI. It is completely flexible, and to the point on technology selection, where we come in is really enable folks to build those custom AI applications and tools bespoke to their business. So you don't have to worry about, okay, every single problem I have, I need a different AI tool to solve it. You can actually just use Mind Studio as a centralized space to build all the different solutions to your problems. So I think that's a great call out there. And to the point on cost, we have currently a free forever starter plan that enables folks to get started. And there's a lot you can do around experimentation, even without spending a dime to start. So I'm glad you called that out as a barrier that can be overcome.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much for that. So let's move on to practical AI applications for small businesses. So Daniel, can you share some very specific examples of how AI automation can help businesses, across different areas of their business?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that came to mind is something that a demo we put together for our partners a few weeks back. One of the things that you and I were talking about leading into this is like lead generation and those processes, and that's really important for our for small businesses. The top line to how their business runs and ensures that they have clients coming in. And something that a MindStudio powered application that we put forth was using the any data that's coming through your lead gen processes, whether you have someone filling out a form or sending you an email, or however it is that you pick up on, okay, there's someone potentially interested that's coming in, being able to use AI to say, okay, this is a little bit about this user, or this potential client. So enrichment, saying, hey, we're going to enrich this lead using AI. So AI can read their role, they can pick up on the company that they're coming from, any other details that you've taken from this form, and say, hey, this is the type of ICP, the ideal customer profile that fits for your type of service or your product. Then what the AI can do is once they have that ICP, they can craft a personalized message for actually reaching out to that potential prospect or that potential client. And that can all happen automatically. That can happen as a draft that you save to your CRM, and then you go in and tweak it and then send it off from there. This is a flow that before would require you to hire a salesperson or hire a marketer or even both on staff to say, okay, this is the ICP, here's the outreach, okay, now I'm going to go to it. Now with AI, and specifically this is a use case that has been built, and we have a tutorial for it on our YouTube via MindStudio, connected to HubSpot, a popular CRM for medium-sized businesses, but it can be executed with any CRM, whether you're using Zoho, Salesforce, or really anything out there that's on the market via MindStudio, and tools like Zapier or other tools that you can use to stitch the whole workflow together. So that was one I really wanted to share on that lead gen process. And I have some examples of some folks who've done that, actually used MindStudio, applied it to their sales process that I can share about too, if now would be a good time maybe.
Well, let's save that to when we are doing the demo.
Okay, sounds good.
Right, so thank you for that, right? And one thing that I have had conversations with businesses in the last 1 month is enrichment, right? I've had people come to me and say that they are struggling with enriching data that's in their CRM, right? So that's something that's very important as well, of how they can use AI for that enrichment. Another thing I would like to share is the predictive analytics as well, right? So for businesses that run campaigns, marketing campaigns, right? In the past, like, you couldn't get insights about your marketing campaign until after the end of it, right? But now we have platforms and we have tools where you can test out your marketing campaign before you launch it. So you would have an idea what the best type of set to use, what the best call to action, what the best description would be. So those things gives us insight. So using AI, you can actually achieve more with your business. So those are just a few ways that businesses can use AI and they can see results like starting from tomorrow. So if anybody has a campaign to run, right, you can use this thing like today, and get your insights and know exactly what assets to use and what call to actions are that, and it will help you get the most results. in what you're doing. So thank you so much for that.
I want to just add to that something that
Yeah.
an application built on the MindStudio platform we built an A/B test evaluator tool that enables you to upload 2 wireframes for a website, or you could even upload 2 different sets of email copy and designs. Really anything that you're trying to A/B test, say, okay, I have these 2 different ideas, which one's going to perform the best for conversion or brand awareness, or really whatever it is the goal you're trying to optimize for. And AI will analyze and write you up a report that says, hey, based off of the text, the color, the headers, like all the different things that go into it, here's what'll perform better for your goal and why. And this is an application that can be customized to your particular goals, to your particular use case. It's something that you'd previously have to hire a whole marketing agency to put together a plan and kind of a prediction for you, and now that's accessible in just a few minutes via an application that you can build via the MindStudio platform. So I'm really glad you brought up that use case, and it's one that is really easy to automate via AI.
Awesome. So I have some results of some polls coming in, and it's interesting to see the stats. Right, so I'm going to publish one of the results so that people can see what's the biggest challenge your business faces when it comes to managing tasks and processes. Right, 60% is all about organizing data efficiently. Right, then the next is automating marketing efforts. And I think these are very big aspects that businesses struggle with. Right, and using AI and automation is something that can help you get the numbers down. Second one is how much time you spend on manual tasks like data entry, customer service, lead management each week. And people are spending between 5 to 10 hours. That's like 54%. Then some people are spending between 10 to 20 hours a week on doing these things. So it is awesome to see the type of time people are spending. And what we're talking about here and what we're going to show in the next session is you can use AI and automation to bring down these numbers that you spend weekly, and those numbers add up, right? You could take the time you're spending on doing all this manual tasks and, use it to grow your business. So if you can save 20 hours in a week, right? Imagine the impact it will have if you use that 20 hours to try and grow your business. So Danielle, now is the time for our demo.
Okay.
Right. So I'm going to stop sharing, then you can share and do the demo.
Okay. Are we seeing new AI at the top here? Or not yet?
See your screen.
You see it? Okay, fantastic. Cool. So we're looking at, we're in the MindStudio product right now. Again, MindStudio is a platform for building AI-powered automations, what we call AI workers. So folks who can work alongside you and your small business. And we're seeing right now what we are presented with when we go in to create a new AI. And there's a couple different options. We talked about the barrier to entry to small businesses and not knowing where to start. Well, one thing I want to direct your attention to is the different templates that we have available across a number of different use cases here. We have templates for campaign budget optimizations, email funnel generations, a number of different marketing, operations, sales, and other types of use cases that you can start with to get started and reduce that time to actually start seeing value from an AI. So that's one option, is to start with a template. Another option is to start from scratch, and a couple options there too. You can start with a blank AI, just start from empty state, or you can give the AI a prompt and it'll start building out how your AI will respond to problems and challenges that you give it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to start from scratch for the purposes of this demo. And that lands me into the master prompt here, the main prompt that underlies the entire workflow or AI worker that we're going to build out here. So a couple things that we see in this prompt, because we're starting from scratch, it's pretty basic. So the role of this assistant, the role of this AI assistant is to help the user by responding to their requests. No other details other than that at this point. The assistant is friendly, it's also concise, and the assistant can use Markdown to format its responses. So that's about how the end response is actually going to be formatted from a text perspective. And then today's date is the current date. So not much to see yet, right? We have a very basic assistant in here. And what we're going to do is build out, what we would do with MindStudio is build out an add to this prompt as we go, depending on the problem that we're looking to solve. What you see here next in this automations tab is the canvas in which you actually build out an automated workflow from end to end. Right now, we just have a chat mechanism happening here, but when we click this plus button here, we see a number of different options that we can start to add upon to this flow. You can have steps in the flow for generating text, generating images using AI, doing image analysis to say, hey, how is this image that I'm going to post on my social going to perform? Is it engaging? You can have a number of different AI services infused into your flow. We have over 50 different models today that you can call upon within any automations that you build out with MindStudio. And maybe like a quick explainer on what models are. We'll go into the model settings to do that. This is a model here that is going to be the basis underlying the entire application, but you can mix and match models as you go. And these models are built by some of the largest AI platforms in the market right now. We have models from Cohere, Google, Meta, Mistral, OpenAI. So OpenAI is the model provider behind ChatGPT, which is a really popular AI tool you might have already been using, you might be using actively in your workflows. These are all the models that we provide from OpenAI. And essentially all these vendors are the ones behind the LLMs, the models that are the back-end processing of all the different AI services and how text is generated, how images are generated, how images are analyzed. These are the providers that are doing that work. MindStudio is simply that interface layer to allow you to actually build things around and incorporating some of these models. And then lastly, you might be asking, okay, well, there's 50 different models out there. How do I know which one to choose to use in my automation, in my workflow, for my AI worker? Which model should I pick? And this is where we have a profiler tool, which is essentially a testing tool that you can pick out different models and set them up to work alongside each other, and then run a test through and see how they respond to a particular prompt, to a particular action. You can see in our profiler tool a number of different things, including how quickly the AI responds. Does it take a really long time to give you a response? You can see the end cost. So something that the kind of currency of using AI models is tokens. So all these different providers that we walked through earlier, Anthropic, Cohere, Google, all of them have a different cost for a certain amount of tokens. And anytime that the AI is run, there is a small charge that is applied, usually in the not cents, in like the tenths of cents, to actually execute upon some of those workflows and use those AI services in your workflows. And this profile tool will actually allow you to compare the cost of what would it be to actually run your AI against the different models. So that's really helpful so that you can choose the most, either if you're looking for the most efficient, highest quality output, or even just the quickest response, depending on the type of flow you want to build out in your goals. So now you've seen the product and kind of the basic spaces in which for building with AI, let's actually go ahead and build something out, something very simple to start, just so that you can start to see what's possible and how it's like to build with Mind Studio. Before I do that, if there's questions that you guys have as we are going along, please put them in the Q&A so that we can cover them. I also want to acknowledge we have plenty of different tutorials on our YouTube page, so don't feel that you need to follow along here necessarily step by step. We have lots of tutorials that walk through how to build out your own AIs and tons of different use cases. So I want to think about a couple things and how I'm going to actually kick off a workflow, as well as the end result that I'm looking for. So let's say that I have a small business and really want to start working on blog content to start engaging my audience. What I would do here is put together I need to be able to interact with the AI. And what we have for that is what we call a user input. This is essentially a form that kicks off the AI flow. And I can start adding some user inputs here. I want, every time I want to use this AI worker, this blog assistant tool, I want it to ask me, what is the topic in which I want the blog to cover that day? You know, I have tons of ideas for what the blogs are, but I just don't have the time to sit down and execute upon them. So I'm going to create a new user input here that asks me, what should this blog be about? And you can see this dynamically showing me what this would look like on the form on the right-hand side. What we're going to name this variable so that we can reference it later on in the flow. And we're just going to call it topic. And you'll see why this is important later on. So that's the end of that user input. Let's go back to the main flow here. And let's add an AI service around generating text. Let's just clean up our workflow a little bit here. So what the AI is going to do is generate a professional blog post on, and then here's where we use our curly brackets here to reference the variable that we just created in the user input called topic. These curly brackets are simply used to just call upon any variables that are being created within the workflow. We can update the model settings. We can do to choose a different model if we want. We can do a number of different customizations, but let's just preview what this is going to look like for now. I'm going to open I just clicked open, publish, and then open. And then I see my AI application here asking me what should this blog be about. Let's say I do hairstyling in London, Ontario. That's my business. Then we see a blog post getting created here. And we see actually that this blog got cut off here. So why is that? Let's go back into our AI and troubleshoot this. So let's go back into here and say, we want to update the max response size of our overall model here. So this is kind of a cost controlling mechanism here. Remember, we said that AI, every time the AI runs, it uses tokens. So we've set a low response size just to start off, but I want to increase that so that I get a really robust blog post. So let's just increase it a little bit more here, and then let's run the AI again. Okay. We're loading here. All right, let's do a refresh just to get us going. Okay, so let's start a new thread that opens up a new instance of the workflow. And I say, okay, again, I'm going to say hairstyling services in London, Ontario. So I have this blog post created here. Awesome. And you see it doesn't get cut off since we increased the size of the responses. It's in full. And, you know, this is the only thing it has to work off of is the topic that I gave it, as well as whatever is in the prompt here. And you can imagine that we can make this a ton more contextual over time. And there's a few different ways we can do this. One, we can add additional user inputs to say, hey, who do you want this blog post to be targeted to? What time of year do you plan to post this in? Maybe there's certain, you know, it's right before Christmas and you want to capitalize on getting ready for holiday parties and getting your hair done and different styles. There's a number of different things we can do at the user input level to inform the AI going forward. We can also tell just actually add things into this prompt here and say however you want the AI to behave. You can add things in plain text, plain English to inform the AI. This is something that was reserved for developers in a past life rather, and now is something that we can just tell the AI to do in plain language. The other thing that you can do is import data sets. So this is our data sources column here, and perhaps you have a ton of customer data or information about your business, like a PDF or a brochure. You can add those in here and request the AI to reference these materials as it's putting together blog posts or social posts or whatever it is that you are building out via Mind Studio. There are plenty of ways to inform it. You can also use things like web scraping to say, hey, use the information from my website to put together blog posts or put together social posts or put together a new offer for my customers. There's really unlimited possibilities from there. And this demo is really just meant to give you an idea of how in a couple minutes you could build out an application, and that works. But spending a bit more time and adding additional customizations, building out the prompt, choosing later over time, choosing a model that's going to work really well and efficiently for your use case are all things that will allow you to get more value out of AI and more value out of the Mind Studio platform. So why don't I pause the demo there for now, Evie? And I do see some questions are coming in. We can always get back into the product as we go through some of the additional questions in Q&A.
Okay. We have a question coming in. Do you want to do the questions now, or do you want to wait for the Q&A session?
I'm flexible. You're driving us here. I want to jump the gun.
Okay, so there's a question that just came in, so we can ask the question. So it is, how can small businesses measure the return on investment from using AI tools?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think of return on investment in a couple ways. One, like top line revenue, right? Like we're looking at, when we want to think about the return, we want to say, okay, how much new business are we bringing in because of our use of AI, right? If we're doing things like using AI to create blog posts and social and all this different engagement, okay, well, what is the value of that channel that we're now activating? How much new business is it bringing into to our pipeline? The other way to quantify ROI is thinking about the bottom line. So, okay, your time is valuable, and it might not be a line item on your P&L or your income statements or the different documents that your different financial documents. But it is important to think, okay, if I'm using my time to do mundane tasks, that's less time that I have to actually interface with my customers, close new deals, bring in new folks, perform my services if you're a service provider. So looking at the time savings of using AI for your business is also a great way to be able to calculate ROI. If you're saving 4 hours a week, or even more than that, depending on how well you're embedding AI into your processes, that's time that you can be used to service your customers, perform new marketing campaigns, close new deals. So there is those two different ways that you can look at it there. And I would be happy to share some examples of some of our customers and some of the ROI metrics they've received if that'd be helpful, Evie.
Yeah, sure. You can definitely do that. I know that will be helpful.
Yeah.
You can put that in the follow-up email we're going to send to attendees after the webinar.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to just highlight really quickly, one of our partners worked with a coaching business, and this coaching business, sole proprietor, she was spending 20 hours a month doing sales outreach. So personalizing outreach, trying to find folks to outreach. And our partner built them via Mind Studio a full suite of applications to automate this process for them. And they saw results really quickly. The outreach process went from 20 hours a month to 2 hours a month. So that's a 92% time savings. And then they also saw just a ton of those top level metrics. Within 3 days, they had 20 new prospective clients booked for initial meetings. They were able to secure a book deal as well, and a number of new social followers as a result of bringing new folks and exposing them to her services. So really great case study of in the wild how folks are calculating ROI, the ROI of using AI and actually seeing those results for their businesses.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think we have another question coming in. Let me just get that up. So it says, how do we upload data sources that provide comprehensive response yet abide by copyright laws?
How do we upload data sources that provide copyright? Yeah. This is a good question. These data sources, really, they're meant to be able to add your data into the AIs, right? So if you think about this as your small business maybe brochures, or a download of your website, customer list, customer details, the services that you offer, things that are yours and can help create better results for your business and your application. So in that case, you'd be the copyright owner of those different materials, since you're the one who created them and therefore your business. So that's certainly something to keep in mind as you're building out these processes. And of course, if you have any questions about using Mind Studio and using it in an ethical and compliant way, you can get in touch with us. The thing about our platform is that it's completely flexible and able to integrate with your compliance standards, your security standards. There's not much that our platform needs to do. It's really the folks who are using it who are in the driver's seat and telling it what to do.
Awesome. We have another question here. It says, does this tool work with comparing third-party learning management systems? I spend a lot of time managing different spreadsheets to monitor certifications from different OEMs. I'm looking for a tool to eliminate the manual entry into Excel. It's a great question.
Yeah, this is a really great question. So comparing third-party learning management systems, a couple different things I want to call out here. Mind Studio is really easy to connect to different tools via a couple different ways. One is the no-code option, which is being able to use tools like Zapier or Make. We have integrations with both of those platforms. And in a no-code fashion, you can bring in data from another tool, whether it's a learning management system, your CRM, email, wherever it is data is coming through, you can funnel that data back into Mind Studio to analyze, to create, to generate reporting on, and then actually produce that output. And then you can even funnel it back into that system or a different system with via Zapier or Make as well. The other option is if you don't use those tools, you could do this via an API call. So this is where we do get into that coding territory. Our platform is a no-code platform, but for folks who do code or for folks who work with a developer, there are additional customizations that you can get out of it. I really recommend definitely the Zapier and the Make route for folks who are starting out with automation and want to see what's possible and how to embed Mind Studio within the rest of their stack and their different workflows.
Thank you so much for that, Danielle.
The release, yeah. So you can imagine a workflow that starts at your third-party learning management system. That data then flows into Mind Studio, is processed, maybe put into a particular format that then creates an Excel or a Google Sheet or whatever tool it is that needs to be that final.
Okay, awesome. We have another question here. Will this integrate with ConnectWise?
Yeah, good question. So a couple of things that are required for connections to happen, right? If you are using a Make or a Zapier, you can check their full list of integrations on their websites. And then if they're not connected to those tools or you want to call upon these tools directly, as long as these tools have an API, you can facilitate those connections. So definitely like something to investigate on a case-by-case basis, depending on what your stack is looking like. And that's something that our team is happy to advise on.
Okay, thank you. We have yet another question again. What advice do you have for startups or small business owners who are on the fence about adopting AI?
Absolutely. And I just want to come back to that next question. Just did a Google search and see ConnectWise has at the very least a Zapier integration. So you could certainly facilitate a connection via Zapier to Mind Studio. Sorry, yes.
That's fine. So next question is, what advice do you have for startups, small business owners who are on the fence about adopting AI?
Absolutely. I recommend taking like 15 minutes after this call and sketching out a couple areas. Like sketch out 5 areas of your business that you hate managing. Like that is just mundane, repetitive, boring to you. That's your list of areas of inspiration where you could apply automation to take those things off your plate. The other list I encourage you to create is a list of things that actually are really energizing and exciting to you and you want to do even more of. That also is inspiration for using AI because, the boring stuff is boring for a reason. You might not ever be motivated to actually come back to those tasks. You might just, trudge through them, get them done, and then, try to forget about it until next year or next month or whatever it is, the cadence that you're routinely doing those tasks. I also think that it's worth thinking about AI and automation for the things that you really enjoy doing as well and how you can do more of them, get even more done with them. Once you have that list there, you can start, you can say, okay, what are let me pick one of each. I'll pick one task that I hate, one task that I love, and let me think about how to apply AI and automation in those scenarios. And if you really can't think of any place to do so, then I recommend getting in touch with EV. He'll give you lots of ideas on how to actually get started from there. But really, it starts with a problem to solve, and the solutions are really customizable and flexible from there.
Right, awesome. I think that was the last question that we have. So quickly, I just want to show something. I'm sharing my screen right now. Yeah, I saw this thing on LinkedIn about 2 days ago or something, or yesterday, I think it was yesterday. And yeah, like this is just a good discussion for us to have, right? A lot of people use ChatGPT and they get frustrated, make it shorter, make it simpler, less formal and all of that. So what I want to say is, using Mind Studio, it's possible to have your own custom AI, right? That actually listens to you, yeah? And an AI that will sound like your voice, right? Every company has their brand and has their brand voice. So you don't want to use AI, to start sounding like an AI. we always see we will see things written by AI and know that this has been written by AI, but you don't want to lose your brand voice when you're using an AI tool, right? So is one way where we can help you with a customized AI platform and application where you can sound like yourself. The another thing I want to touch on, right, is using Mind Studio.
Can I quickly add to that? Can I quickly add to that, Evie? Do you mind?
Go ahead.
I love this quote here. It's too funny. And I think to the earlier question, why folks might be on the fence is that you've probably tried a chatbot tool and gone through this song and dance. And it is frustrating, and you are left with a result that is not satisfactory, is something you'll never use for your business. And to your point, being able to customize and add all these things, make it shorter, make it simpler, like adding all those things into the prompt that I showed earlier on, you can actually bake that in and say, hey, this should be short, this should be simple, it should be informal and sound natural. You can actually add that in, and maybe you have that for like on social, but for your blog, you want to do copy. This is like a copywriting example here. So you want one that is more formal and does sound better. So you can have two different applications that run in parallel that produce very different content depending on the types of use cases you have to run. And that's just copywriting. We're not talking about data analysis and predictive analytics and operations and all the different use cases there. So I love this example, and I think it really speaks to why folks might be on the fence. So sorry to cut you off, but please.
It's fine. I like the context that you added to it as well. The other thing I was going to mention is that through Mind Studio, this is one of the biggest thing I know I like about using Mind Studio, right? Through Mind Studio, you get access to very much the LLMs of all platforms. Like you have access to OpenAI LLM, you have access to Gemini, you have access to Meta's LLM, right? So if you are using just ChatGPT or using Claude, right, you are restricted to just what OpenAI has, right? But through Mind Studio, you are able to have access to a wide range of LLMs, and like that is just like putting power in the hands of a small business or anybody that's going to be using this thing. Like, so it gives you access to wide range of LLMs, and it can help you with your business, right? And if anybody doesn't know what LLM is, it's large language models. Just to clarify. Let me see if we have any other question. I know we're almost out of time right now. No, have some pause. Okay, we don't have any question right now. So, Danielle, do you want to add anything before we do the wrap up?
No, thank you so much. Let's wrap things up.
Okay, so thank you everybody for joining today. We have another webinar upcoming in 2 days. You can scan the QR code that's on the screen right now to register for the webinar, or go to our website, sbw.beginfusion.com, to register for the webinar and see other things that we have ongoing. We also have the Small Business Week special that is still ongoing to the end of the month. And you can take advantage of this or share it with any other small business that you think would benefit from these things as well. And everybody joining this webinar today, you're going to get these two kits, 5 AI strategies that every business should know, then an AI roadmap. So for businesses that are on the fence about not knowing how to implement AI or not knowing if they want to move ahead with AI, this AI roadmap is going to help you, make that decision and show you how you should, implement AI into your business. Then if you want to, you can scan the QR code here and sign up for a Mind Studio Starter account, just for you to go inside and see how it is, play around with it as well. Then if you want to as well, like when you do that, you can now also get in touch with me so that we can help you start building out your custom AI application. So I'm just going to leave this on the screen for a couple of seconds for people to just scan it and then move up to the next things that we're going to cover just before we wrap up. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So next is if you want to connect with us on LinkedIn, you can scan the QR code to my left to connect, follow Mind Studio on LinkedIn, then the one on the right, follow Begin Fusion on LinkedIn. I'm going to leave it again for a few more seconds before I move on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Then if you want to book a consultation for us to discuss how we can help you build custom solutions using Mind Studio, scan the QR code to book a consultation with me. Then we'll have the discussion and take it further. Thank you very much, everybody. I think this is the end of the presentation. Thank you so much, Daniel, for making yourself available for this. Thank you, everybody, for joining. All the people that joined, I really appreciate you joining today, and see you next time. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.